this evening. I will put in a title later. Hello, hey Instagram, hey YouTube, hi Twitter. How are you? Happy Thursday. No, shoot, it's not Thursday. It's Tuesday, guys. Remember I said before that I was going to that we're doing multiple days a week now, and this is one of them. So I asked you guys during the week what day that you wanted me to come on, and you guys said to keep Tuesdays at 7. Hello, Reset Wellness DC. How are you? Um, so give me a second while I put in my title for Facebook. Um, yes, it's Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. I didn't have any tacos, but yay taco. I'm always down for a taco. Hi, Sincere 39. Okay. All right. Happy Tuesday, guys. This is our official second broadcast. So I asked you guys, hi Marlene Bowman. I asked you guys during the week, if you wanted me to keep Tuesdays at 7, and I took a poll, and you guys said to keep Tuesdays at 7. All right. Much better since our console. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I hope you guys, the beginning of the week is being good to you. We have a lot of stories today. And as usual, we're waiting till about 5 minutes in to get started, so that we can let people come on in. If you see, my background is a little different today. We're broadcasting from a different secret location. Don't tell anybody. But yeah, we've got a great show. We've got some really cool stories. I've got a lot of things that I want to get your opinion about. If you watched my stories in either Instagram or Facebook today, you'll notice that I put up some pictures that I wanted you guys to give some answers to. I know Sincere 39, you were one of the people who answered. I was those photos that I had the polls on. We're going to talk about them today. Hi, Eugene CHV. Welcome. We've got about a minute and a half before we get started. I'm really excited about doing this show 2 days a week now. And we have a sponsor, guys. Hi, Miss Whitney. Thank you for joining us. We have a sponsor this week. I'm very excited. Remember last week, if you watched, I told you guys that I was selling 30-second spots during the live broadcast, and someone took me up on it. So we have a sponsor today. We're going to start up in about a minute. Remember that at 7:05, that's the time to share out to everybody. That's when we get started. That's when we do our titles. And I'm very excited about today. Last week, I think we got through about 6 stories. I'm thinking we're probably going to get through the same amount. But that's cool. I'd rather take my time and do less stories and us have fulfilling discussions about them than rush through them. Okay. All right. So it is 7:05. Everybody share this out to your friends, your family, your coworkers, people at church, somebody in your life. Send this broadcast out to somebody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. You are watching MPL Legal Dish, my now twice weekly live broadcast where I take celebrity stories and pop culture stories from the news to teach you business and legal concepts. Who am I? I'm Natalie Pierre-Lewis, the host of the show and owner and operator of NPL Consulting LLC, a business formation firm. What that means is I help you get your business paperwork together. So if you need to get registered with the state, if you need contracts, if you need to protect your brand through trademarks, copyrights, patents, I help you learn the concepts and understand the process to get through it. If you are interested in any of my services, including Business Launch Bootcamp Digital happening in about a week and a half, about a week, please go to Linktree/NPL Consulting Firm, Linktree/NPL Consulting Firm, Linktree/NPL Consulting Firm. It is the link in my bio in all of my social media. So if this is your first time ever watching the show, I think I saw a new face. Every week I pull stories that have to do with business concepts and celebrities, and I use those stories to teach you things that you need to know. Why am I qualified to do this show and to help you do the things that I say I do? Well, I'm glad that you asked. I'm qualified because I am a licensed attorney. I have been one for over a decade. I've started multiple businesses for myself and others. I've had many careers in the realms of law, entrepreneurship, education, hospitality, and administrative support. And most important, I am very passionate about making business and legal education as accessible to everybody as possible. Not everybody has the time, the money, or the desire to go to business school or to law school, and that is just fine. So many of you, though, have amazing business ideas. And if you're going to make it in business, there are certain concepts that you're just going to need to know. There's no way around it. So that is why I am here. And again, if you need help getting your business off the ground, please go to the link in my bio, linktree/NPL consulting firm, so that we can schedule a free 15-minute consultation and figure out how I can help you. All right. So as usual, I'm going to go through these stories and I'm going to ask you questions. If you have comments or questions of your own, don't be shy. Drop them in the comments and I will get to them, okay? All right, so buckle in, pay attention, because I'm going to, I want to make sure that this is interactive. I know that sometimes this can be dry, so we're going to make this fun for ourselves, okay? All right. So our first story today has to do, this is actually a follow-up story. If you have been watching me for some time, you know that I talked about the story of Coogi, the clothing brand Coogi, suing Nike for selling a line of memorabilia jerseys that they were calling Brooklyn Camo. And they said that the design of the Brooklyn Camo was super similar to the Coogi style of designing their clothing. If you guys don't know what Coogi is, it was a big brand in the 90s. And actually, what brought it to prominence is the crux of the story that we're talking today. So when Nike promoted these jerseys, the ones that Coogi is suing over, they said they said that it was a tribute to Biggie. So if Biggie is, top 5 rappers, dead or alive, great albums, one of the pillars of the hip hop movement, hip hop community, all that stuff, right? So Nike said that these jerseys that Coogi said looked like their stuff were an ode to Biggie. Now remember, Biggie had a song where he said, however, I stay Coogi down to the socks. Remember? All right. So Coogi, Nike basically asked the court to dismiss Coogi's Coogi's case against them for infringement, because they said that Coogi doesn't have a right to Biggie. They basically said that Coogi never had a deal with Biggie. There was never an endorsement deal, so they can't claim that because Nike is saying that these jerseys are a tribute to Biggie, that it's automatically connected with Coogi. So Nike is like, just because Biggie shouted you out in a song doesn't mean that he's your representative. But Coogi's argument is that Biggie was the one who associated himself with their brand. He's the one who shouted them out. He took it upon himself to put this brand on his back. On top of the fact that Nike, you're out here saying that it's a tribute to Biggie. Well, if Biggie tributed us, you're tributing us too. And they're also saying that because Biggie took it upon himself to associate himself with the Coogi brand, that they have a right to capitalize upon that. All right. So what I want to know from you is that right now Coogi is just asking the court not to dismiss their case because Nike asked them to dismiss it, right? Do you think that Coogi has a case here? Because Nike is trying to sell these jerseys that if you Google them, you'll see them. I've actually posted it before. They kind of might look like Coogi if you think about it. There might be some room for argument. But do you think that Coogi has the right to claim that Nike is trying to use their fame because they're claiming it's Biggie inspired, because Biggie shouted them out in a song? That's what they're basically saying. Biggie shouted us out in a song. He's the one who associated himself with our brand, and now you're trying to claim ties to Biggie and designing these things that look like our clothes. So do you think that Coogi has a case here? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I think that they do, because the NBA is not known for, their fashion sense. And when you look at these jerseys, you can see the Coogi inspiration. So that's my thought. And also, if a celebrity attaches themselves to your brand, you should absolutely capitalize on that. I don't understand why Nike feels that that Coogi can't do this. Reset Wellness DC says, I haven't seen them, but if they are using a design close to theirs, then yes. Miss Whitney said that they do, so they do have a case. Destiny Shinwuba, hello, welcome. All right, so I've got a couple of people here who are on the side of Coogi, and I am too. I think that Nike thought, Reset Wellness said absolutely. I think that Nike thought that just because they kind of, oh, Sincere has a question. He said, no, wouldn't the estate have to be involved? No, the estate wouldn't have to be involved. Marlene Bowman said he has a case, because they're not saying that we have a deal with Biggie. What Coogi is saying, their argument for why Nike is basically copying their style is that Nike is calling this line of jerseys Brooklyn Camo. Everybody knows that Biggie is from Brooklyn. And then you're saying that it's a line of jerseys that are meant to tribute Biggie, right? So, but they're not claiming that they're affiliated with Biggie. They're just saying, we just want to honor Biggie, right? That's all they're saying. So they're not trying to, make money off of his name or his face. They're just saying, we did this to honor him. Okay. Sincere39 said, I didn't know Coogi was still around, actually. They are still around. And even if a company is not necessarily making things, they don't want you using their name. Reset Wellness DC says, but design aside, I'm not sure if they have a case if Nike is just saying it's an ode to Biggie. Okay. And that's the other side. Like, I would really urge you guys to go look up the Nike Brooklyn Camo jerseys and look up a typical Coogi sweater and decide for yourselves if Coogi is right in going after Nike and saying that, they're copying their style. Reset Wellness said, yes, Sincere 39, they are trying to make a comeback. Oh, they are? Okay, Coogi, do your thing. Okay. Yes. Okay. So y'all were very invested in that story. I like that. Okay. Keep that up. All right. So, if any of you guys were here last week, you know that we talked about the copyright infringement case between, Katy Perry and a Christian rapper by the name of Flame. Hi, Wild Attorney. Right. And we said that Katy Perry was found guilty of copyright infringement, and that we were just waiting to hear back how much the rapper was going to get. And I posted it in my stories this week that he was awarded $2.7 million for this copyright infringement case, because the jury found that the success of the song Dark Horse, which is the song that he said Katy Perry stole, they said that 22% of Dark Horse's success could be attributed to the music that they used from his song. So he was awarded, Sincere 39 said, yeah, he got paid. He got $2.7 million. Capitol Records has to pay him $1.2 million. Katy Perry has to pay him herself $550,200. And then the rest has to be paid by producers and collaborators on the song. So, I mean, this is a pretty good example of why you need to enforce your rights against your intellectual property. This guy made a song years ago, and and even I, listening to the clip, I was like, okay, this is kind of much, but he got $2.7 million off of an arrangement, a musical arrangement. So this is why it's important This is why it's important to enforce your intellectual property rights through copyrights and trademarks. Reset Wellness DC came back and said, Coogi absolutely has a case. Okay, so she went and looked at the shirts and she thinks Coogi has a case, y'all. So y'all go do your Googles, go look up the Nike Brooklyn camo shirts after this and compare them to Coogi. All right. So, the rapper Flame is getting some money because he enforced his copyrights. Marlene Bowman said, know your worth. That's absolutely right. Reset Wellness DC said, the design is almost an exact replica of the most popular Coogi design. Ooh. See, I'm not that familiar with Coogi, but apparently Reset Wellness DC is. And she said that they basically just copy Coogi's design, y'all. So we'll see what happens. Okay. You guys are invested in this Coogi story. Okay. All right. This, the next story we have has to do with the purple one, Prince. Okay. If you guys were, did I put this yesterday or today? I forget if I put it in the stories yesterday or today, but I put in my stories, a purple color, and I asked, does this color make you think of Prince? And it was actually a 50-50 split between you guys. So Prince's estate has been trying to trademark a particular color of purple. Hold on one second. Reset Wellness DC said, I'm from DC. We wore Coogi out. Okay, all right. So Prince's estate has been trying to trademark this particular shade of purple that they say they created, and they want to trademark it for musical and sound recordings and entertainment services. This application has been denied a couple of times because the reason it has been denied is because the USPTO office said that the USPTO office said that they haven't shown how they're going to apply this trademark. Like, are you just going to put a purple backdrop in concerts? Are you going to make the cover of albums purple? How are you going to use this mark? And they have not been able thus far to tell them how this purple is going to be used. On top of that, the USPTO has suggested to them that maybe you divide your application. Instead of trying to cover these broad areas, divide the application into specific areas so that it's more easily trademarkable. Because if you're just trying to cover it for music services, there are plenty of artists out here who have had album covers that are purple. Reset Wellness DC said, yes, when I see purple, I automatically associate it with Prince, even before his death. Yes, you associate purple with Prince, but this is a particular shade of purple that they're trying to trademark. So if you think about, remember we talked about trademarking colors, the T-Mobile pink, that particular shade of pink is very specific. There's something called Pantone. These colors have these really difficult codes. And you have to be very specific in your color. You can't just trademark purple all over the place. You know, you can't just trademark red or blue or purple. It has to be a specific shade. So what his estate is saying is that this particular shade of purple, it is quintessentially Prince, and we want to trademark it for these areas. And what the USPTO office is saying, you need to show us how exactly you're going to use the purple. What are you using the purple for? So they have to go back to the drawing board and really think about, how is this purple going to be integrated into in selling Prince goods. So this is why it's important when you are thinking about filing a trademark application, you need to know exactly what industry are you in, what service are you trying to provide, what good are you trying to sell. You want to be exact when you're on your application, okay? Because they're having to go through this and refile, and all of that costs money. And Prince's estate is also hemorrhaging money because he didn't have a will. So this is costing money, okay? All right, so now we are going to take a short break, and I told you guys, if you are interested in promoting your business, I am selling 30-second spots starting at $3, and we have our first ad for NPL Legal Dish. I'm really proud. So this segment is brought to you by Glam Studio J. They say, we all want to put our best face forward. And what better way than to give yourself the gift of glam? Book Glam Studio J for your next wedding, birthday, or special event. Based in Boston and available for travel, email glamstudio at info@glamstudioj.com, and you can follow them also on all social media at Glam Studio J. So thank you, Glam Studio J, for promoting with us today. If you guys are interested in promoting your business on the show for a 30-second spot, they start at $3, and you can do that by clicking the link in the bio, and there's a big button right there. And now back to our story. So Sincere39 has a question. He said, so is that something Prince should have done when he was alive? I don't think that Prince was interested in trademarking that color. I think if he was interested in doing that, he would have done it a long time ago. Just like I don't think that any of this new music that's coming out from his vaults, I don't think that was anything that was ever meant to be heard, and I don't think it should be coming out. But, you know, whoever is in charge of his estate, they're in charge now, and they get to do what they want, despite Prince's wishes, because Prince did not leave a will. Get a will. All right. Okay. So we are back. We finished our commercial. If you want to have your commercial on here too, click the link in the bio. Click it, $3. This next case we are talking about, it is a follow-up. If you guys were here a few weeks ago, I talked about a restaurant that was trying to get registered as an LLC in Delaware. And the restaurant's name is Illegal Pete's. They're actually based in Colorado, but they're branching out, and they're setting their business up in Delaware, because you don't necessarily have to set your business up in the state where your business is. You can do it in another state. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but people have different reasons for different things. Okay. So Illegal Pete's is in Delaware, and they're trying to change their business over to an LLC in Delaware. Hold on one second. We're going to pause because Reset Wellness has a question about the Prince story. So if they say they're going to use the purple for a line of, let's say, ink pens, would that possibly get approved? You know what? That might be a good idea if they came out with a Prince line of office goods, and, you know, they had a particular shade of purple. That's a really good idea. So, tip top, girl. Okay, I like that. All right. So let's get back to Illegal Pete. So Illegal Pete goes to Delaware and says, hey, we want to register as an LLC in Delaware. Delaware is like, no, you can't register as an LLC in Delaware because we don't like your name. Your name is kind of vulgar. And then, but Illegal Pete came back and said, but you have companies registered in Delaware that are called, these are the real names of companies registered in Delaware. There's a company called Sexy Mofo Inc. And there is a company called Kill the Lucky Ones LLC. Okay, so Illegal Pete comes back and says, but you got these. And then on top of that, if you remember, I talked about for several weeks that case before the Supreme Court about that vulgar clothing line that was named Fucked, and they won. So basically, because the federal government said that you can't just, block someone because you don't like their brand or because it might be considered immoral or, vulgar. Some people want that. Illegal Pete is like, run us our money. But now the states is trying to propose new regulations to kind of put reins on how people name their businesses. But the thing is, at the end of the day, federal law is always going to trump state law. So even if you make these regulations, if somebody wants to go and appeal these laws, you might get struck down by the federal government. So that's a little, interplay of federal and state. But yeah, so Illegal Pete was able to register as an LLC in Delaware because they were able to show, hey, you can't just tell us that we can't, because there was this ruling that said we're allowed to do this. And you also have companies that are named much worse. Hi, Diamond Sweat Aquafina. All right. Okay, so that is Illegal Pete's. Now, to anybody here who is into brands, has anybody heard of the brand? Oh, actually, no. We're not even going to worry about the brand. Do I have any vegans in the house? If anybody is a vegan, please put a V in the comments. Please put a V in the comments if I have any vegans in the house. All right, and while you guys do that, I'm going to kind of update you on this story. So apparently there's a well-known line called New Look, and they have come out with a completely, hello, Ms. Haystack? I don't know what the name is. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. So there's this fashion line called New Look, and they have gone vegan. They have designed 500 vegan, hi Tanya Blingologist, 500 vegan shoes, bags, and accessories. And not only are they vegan, they are now registered with the Vegan Society's vegan trademark. So this is a fashion line that is putting their money where their mouth is, and also using the clout of a vegan society, because some people are really serious about the vegan lifestyle, to promote their brand. And this is why branding is really important. Hi, Afro-Rican Queen. Look, because somebody who's really, hardcore vegan, they'll see this bag and they'll see the trademark of the Vegan Society, and they'll be like, oh yeah, these people are really serious about it, and they might buy it off the strength of that. This is why trademarks are important. So to anybody here who nobody's vegan, because I was going to ask, if you were vegan, and if you were vegan for, conscientious reasons, the environment and things like that, and you were out shopping and you saw this line of, bags and whatever, and they had this official trademark from the Vegan Society, would that compel you to buy it? Would you be more likely to buy it? Would you? All right, I'm going to give you guys a second with that. But just to update you, the fashion line. So the fashion line is going to have their own trademark called New Look. But then in this specific vegan line, it's going to have another trademark for the Vegan Society. So if you were vegan, or like if you just put yourself in the eyes of, in the feet of, what do you call that? Put yourself in somebody else, in the shoes. Put yourself in the shoes of a vegan person who's doing this for, environmental reasons, whatever, their animal rights, and you go out and you see this line and it's got this vegan trademark. Do you think that they're going to be more likely to buy this line of vegan accessories? Tanya Blingologist said, I've been hearing vegan from so many, I'm confused. So vegan is when you don't eat any animal products. So you don't eat eggs, you don't eat butter. I think the vegans don't eat honey because they're produced by bees. I'm not sure if anybody knows anything about veganism. But basically a vegan doesn't use any animal products in their life. Sincere39 says, I just don't eat meat. I'm not extreme where you can't use animals for anything. Okay, so you don't mind animals being used for things. So this trademark isn't really going to sway you one way or another. But what about someone who is about animal rights and doesn't want to use any animal products at all? Do you think that it would sway them? All right, I'm gonna let you guys let Sincere give his answer. Oh, and then I have this story is kind of this next one is a follow-up. Oh, before we move on with that, this new vegan line, this line of accessories, they're going to be carried in 900 stores starting in September. So you might see it while you're out there. Sincere39 said yes, it would. So he thinks that it would sway a vegan person to purchase those items. So this might be a really good look for New Look. They might have this cult vegan following, All right, so thank you for your participation. Also, welcome back to NPL Legal Dish. This is my twice weekly show where we take celebrity and pop culture stories and talk about business and legal concepts that you need to know as an entrepreneur. I'm a licensed attorney, been one for over a decade, and I help people get their businesses off the ground. If you're interested in my services, book a free 15-minute consultation using the link in my bio, linktree/NPL consulting firm, linktree/NPL consulting firm, linktree/NPL consulting firm. Tanya Blingologist says, is that similar to those animal rights when it comes to fur coats? Yes. I had a case on here a couple of months ago about this line of fake fur coats that they were trying to trademark as faux fur, and it was a whole thing. It was very confusing. But yeah, people who don't want animals being used for fashion are, they're very serious about it. Okay, so next story that we are talking about has to do with these bracelets. So Vic, when I read this story, I was reminded of like Pandora bracelets. You know how you can buy the individual charms? But this is the story of Nomination Bracelets, and they are a United Kingdom company, and they make customizable bracelets, right? So bracelets that you can make them and look how you want. A United States company basically bought a bunch of the bracelets, took them apart, and started selling the individual pieces along with their own stuff, which was kind of a copycat of this Nomination bracelet. Okay. Tanya said I was raised on meat and meat products. Me too, girl. But going back to Nomination. So basically Nomination, they have these bracelets, that you can make them, customize and make them however you want. They're over in the United Kingdom. This US company says, oh, those bracelets are cute, buys a whole bunch, takes them apart, and starts selling the individual parts along with their stuff that looks very similar to this Nomination bracelet. Now, remember, we've talked about that some of your trademark rights, when you buy it, get cut. Some of the trademark rights of the creator, they get cut off when you buy it. If you remember when we talked about Cash Doll and her having the Louis Vuitton bulletproof vest with the mask and the musket, she bought an authentic altered item. So it was a real Louis that was purchased and then just kind of cut up and made it something different. So this is another case of someone taking an authentic item because the US company did purchase these bracelets. So they purchased them for real, they got the receipts, and then they took them apart and started selling the individual parts with their own stuff that looked like Nomination bracelet. Okay. So here's the thing. The court said that Nomination Bracelets, the UK company, you never told people that they couldn't sell the individual parts. And in fact, the idea of your bracelets being able to be broken apart, that's the core of your product. However, so they lost on that argument, but the other argument was that they said that this US company was diluting their brand. And the court agreed with them on that because the US company was selling these products in really cheap packaging. So they're like, well, it's one thing if you're selling the individual parts, but you're selling them in cheap packaging. And that's really taking the name of this UK company Nomination down. So Nomination they've won on that argument. So we'll wait and see what happens with the US company and see if they either up the packaging or stop selling the individual parts. But what I want to know from you is, do you think that the US company did anything wrong? They purchased these bracelets outright, they took them apart, and then they were selling individual pieces along with their stuff that was kind of a copycat and also kind of cheap. So do you think that they did anything wrong? Da, da, na, na, da, 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 na, 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 da, na, na, na. Okay. All right. So I'll let you guys give your answers to that, and we'll move on to the next story. Maybe that didn't hit the way I thought it was going to hit. But do I have any does anybody know about the brand Cartier? I hear about it a lot in songs. I think they make jewelry and bags. Wait, or watch. I can't remember. Sincere 39 said, isn't that like when you buy something for your own personal use, but you can't replicate it? What do you mean by replicate? So, okay, if I buy a Louis Vuitton bag and I decide that I want to cut it up and make it a hat, I can do that. I'm not sure what you mean by diamonds. So yeah, so if I buy a Louis bag and I cut it up and I make it a hat, I can do that, right? If I want to sell that hat to somebody else, I can do that as long as I say this is an authentic Louis item that I altered, like videos or movies. Not really. Not really, because with movies you also have copyrights that come into play, and copyrights let you decide when and where your stuff can be played, right? Um and and you have copyrights that specifically say right, you can't resell the movies. But what they're saying is these people, these bracelets, the draw of these bracelets is that you can break them apart and put them together however you want. This company in the United States says these bracelets are dope. They bought them for real. They didn't buy fake ones. And then they took them apart and then they started selling the individual parts. Now, when you buy an item, some of the trademark rights from the creator get cut off. But they never said that you can't sell the individual parts of our bracelets. And that's, when people say, oh, oh, hold on, let me finish this. You know how when people say not for resale, they basically said that nomination bracelets never said not for resale. Okay? The connection keeps, my connection? My connection keeps going in and out. I'm not sure if you mean your connection or my connection. But okay, but we're gonna move on to the next story. So Cartier bracelets. Yes, it's Sincere 39 Cartier diamonds. Yes. So this is the case of Cartier diamonds. And actually, this is a story that kind of hit close to home because one thing that you may not know about me is that I'm a pastor's kid. My dad is associate pastor at, thank you, my connection's fine. My dad's associate pastor at my home church in Boston, right? So when I read this case, I was really kind of offended because associate pastor of a church in North Carolina by the name of Reverend Jean Gang Frank Land was arrested at church and charged with felony criminal use of a counterfeit trademark because he had 3,200 fake Cartier bracelets. And they said that this was the largest single seizure in North Carolina since 2004. Reset Wellness said she's a PK too. Hey, high five. All right. So basically, you got this associate pastor in a church who has all these fake Cartier bracelets. And they said that if the bracelets were real, they would have been worth $24.4 million. And the way that they found him out was that there was a sting in New Orleans where they found some bracelets and they followed the chain and it led to this associate pastor in North Carolina. He has to. He has a $25,000 bond, so we'll see if his flock puts some money in the till. Um, but yeah, so what I want to know from you is actually no. This isn't a story where I picked this story because nobody is immune. Don't think that just because you hide something under the cloak of, oh, we're doing this for a good deed or whatever, that you can hide. Trademark rights are real. People want their money. Nobody cares if you're a pastor. Nobody cares if you're doing it for the children. They want their money. So don't steal people's trademarks. All right. But yeah, so if anybody wants to put something on Reverend Jean Gang Frank Land's books, I don't know, you can look up the North Carolina roster of prisoners. Okay, next story we are talking about has to do with Walmart. Walmart has been coming up a lot in our stories. But I wanted you guys to know that Walmart has applied for a patent for cryptocurrency. I'm sure you guys have heard somewhere in the last couple of years about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain and all that stuff. And Walmart is trying to get in on the fun. They filed a crypto patent. They don't have a name yet, but they're thinking that Reset Wellness said it's not funny, but yes. Yeah, so they don't have a name for the cryptocurrency yet, but they're thinking that Walmart might use this cryptocurrency to